Before Rome built laws, before Greece spoke of democracy, before Europe even understood the concept of an empire, there existed a civilization so powerful, so organized, and so advanced that it ruled most of the known world without destroying it. This was an empire that did not force its religion on conquered peoples, an empire that did not erase their cultures, an empire that did not rule through terror. Yet today, most people barely remember its name. This was the Persian Empire. For centuries, it was the largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from the Balkans in Europe to the Indus Valley in India. But its true power wasn't just its size. It was its revolutionary ideas. The Persians created the world's first postal service, the first major highway system, and even the first declaration of human rights. They were masters of engineering, administration, and tolerance, creating a multicultural superpower that thrived on diversity. This empire changed the rules of power forever and quietly became the blueprint for the modern world. But how did it rise so fast? What made its system of government so effective? Why did it clash with the Greeks in one of history's most famous wars? And ultimately, how did such a mighty civilization fall? And what is its true, lasting legacy? This is not a short story. This is not simplified history. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore the complete rise, the revolutionary system, the epic wars, the dramatic decline, and the forgotten legacy of the first true superpower of the ancient world. Get ready to rediscover the Persian Empire. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more deep dives into the empires that shaped our world. Let's begin. Before Persia, what did it mean to rule? It meant fear. The Assyrians? They left a trail of burned cities and terrified survivors. The Babylonians? They enslaved entire populations, ripping people from their homes. And the Egyptians? Their pharaohs were gods on earth, untouchable and absolute. In the ancient world, power meant destruction. Order meant brutality. It was a vicious cycle. These empires were built on fear, but fear always breeds rebellion, making them inherently unstable. There was no concept of human rights, no religious tolerance, no system of balanced administration. It was ruled by the sword, and it was the only way anyone knew. Then, out of the east, a new power emerged, a power that would break every single rule of empire building, a power called Persia. And they were about to change the world forever. Follow me to find out how. Ever wondered how ancient Persia became such a powerhouse? You might picture a lush, fertile paradise, but the reality was the complete opposite. The Persian Empire was born from harsh mountains, vast dry plateaus, and incredibly limited resources. Life was a constant struggle for survival. This unforgiving land forged the Persian mindset. It taught them to value discipline over luxury, order over chaos, and careful planning over reckless impulse. They learned a crucial lesson very early on. Survival, and eventually greatness, depends on organization. This wasn't just a preference. It was a necessity. This core belief in structure and strategy is what allowed them to build one of the most organized and enduring empires the world has ever seen. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more history deep dives. Every great empire begins with a single mind. For the colossal Persian Empire, that mind belonged to Cyrus the Great. But here's the thing you might not know. Cyrus wasn't born into limitless power. He didn't start at the top. His story began in a small Persian tribe, living under the shadow of foreign domination. He was an underdog, but he possessed a rare combination of qualities that would change the world forever. First, strategic patience. Cyrus wasn't impulsive. He didn't rush into battles he couldn't win. He observed, he planned, and he waited for the perfect moment to strike. This wasn't weakness. It was calculated strength. He understood that timing is everything, and he played the long game better than anyone else. Second, emotional intelligence. This was perhaps his greatest superpower. Cyrus could read people. He understood their fears, their hopes, and their motivations. This allowed him to turn enemies into allies and build loyalty that armies alone could never secure. He connected with people on a human level, a skill that's as rare today as it was back then. And finally, a profound respect for human dignity. This is what truly set him apart. In an age of brutal conquest, Cyrus was a revolutionary. When he conquered new lands, like the great city of Babylon, he didn't burn them to the ground. He protected them. He preserved their cultures, their religions, and their ways of life. He famously freed captive peoples and allowed them to return to their homelands and rebuild their temples. When he defeated his enemies, he didn't humiliate or execute them. He absorbed them into his growing empire, often giving former kings positions of honor in his own court. He understood that true power wasn't about destruction. It was about creation. It was about building something bigger, something more inclusive, where different cultures and peoples could thrive together. Cyrus the Great showed the world that an empire could be built not just on military might, but on wisdom, tolerance, and respect. He created a model of governance that would be studied and admired for centuries, influencing leaders from Alexander the Great to the founding fathers of the United States. His legacy isn't just about the vast lands he conquered. It's about the groundbreaking idea that greatness and goodness can go hand in hand. What do you think was Cyrus's most important quality? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating figures. Picture this: 539 BC, the mighty Persian army, led by Cyrus the Great, stands at the gates of Babylon. Babylon isn't just any city. It's the jewel of the ancient world, legendary for its wealth, its hanging gardens, its impenetrable walls. For centuries, when a city fell, it meant one thing: slaughter, looting, and enslavement. The people of Babylon braced for the worst. The world held its breath, expecting a bloodbath. But then the unexpected happened. Cyrus didn't unleash his soldiers. He didn't burn the temples or tear down the walls. Instead, he rode into the city peacefully. The historical records tell us the Babylonians welcomed him, laying green branches in his path. This was completely unheard of. Conquerors were supposed to be brutal, to make an example of the conquered. Cyrus, however, chose a different path. He went to the grand temples of Babylon, not to desecrate them, but to honor their gods. He showed respect for their traditions and beliefs. He declared that no one's property would be harmed. But his most revolutionary act was yet to come. Cyrus found many different peoples who had been captured and enslaved by the Babylonians, forced to live in the city against their will. And he did something that would echo through history. He set them free. He didn't just free them. He gave them permission to return to their homelands. He even helped fund the rebuilding of their own sacred sites. Most famously, this included the Jewish people, who had been held in the Babylonian captivity for decades. Cyrus allowed them to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. This incredible policy was recorded on a small clay artifact we now call the Cyrus cylinder. On it, Cyrus outlines his actions and his philosophy of rule, respect for all peoples, freedom of religion, and the right to live in peace. Many historians look at this cylinder and call it the world's first declaration of human rights. It was a radical idea that a ruler's power could come from benevolence, not just fear. Cyrus the Great didn't just build an empire of land. He built an empire founded on a revolutionary idea of tolerance and liberty, a legacy that still inspires us thousands of years later. Thanks for watching. If you found this piece of history as fascinating as I do, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that shaped our world. See you next time. How did the Persian Empire become the largest in the ancient world? And more importantly, how did it last? In just a few decades, Persia's influence stretched across Mesopotamia, Anatolia, Egypt, Central Asia, and even parts of India. It was a superpower unlike any seen before. So, what was its secret to stability? Most empires rule through fear and brutal force, but Persia was different. They were masters of administration. Instead of just conquering lands, they built systems. They established a sophisticated postal service, standardized weights and measures, and built roads connecting their vast territories. They allowed local customs and religions to continue, earning the loyalty of their subjects. It was this genius for governance, not just conquest, that made the Persian Empire so resilient. They didn't just rule people. They ruled with a system. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more history shorts. Have you ever wondered how ancient empires managed to control vast territories without today's technology? The Persian Empire had a brilliant system that's still influential. They divided their massive empire into provinces called satrapies. But here's the genius part. Power within each satrapy was split three ways. First, you had the governor, or satrap, who handled civil administration. Then, a separate military commander controlled the army. And finally, a state secretary or tax officer managed the finances and kept an eye on everyone. This separation of powers was a masterstroke. No single person had total control, which made it incredibly difficult for anyone to rebel or become corrupt. It created a system of checks and balances that ensured stability across the empire. In fact, this very idea of dividing power to prevent abuse is a cornerstone of many modern governments today. Pretty amazing, right? Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, hit that subscribe button for more history shorts. Ever wondered how ancient empires kept millions of people in line? It wasn't just about armies and power. Take the ancient Persian Empire, for example. They were masters of organization, and their secret weapon was standardization. Imagine this. Instead of random, unpredictable rules, the Persians introduced standardized tax systems. Everyone knew exactly what they owed. They established clear legal codes so people understood their rights and the laws they had to follow. Even administrative records were consistent across the vast empire. This created something revolutionary for its time: predictability. When people know what to expect from their rulers, it builds trust. They feel protected and secure. And what does trust breed? Loyalty. It turns out, a well-organized spreadsheet might be just as mighty as a sword in building a lasting empire. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more history shorts. Ever wonder how ancient empires managed to stay in control without phones or the internet? Let's talk about ancient Persia's incredible solution: the Royal Road. Picture this: a massive network stretching over 2,500 kilometers, connecting the vast Persian Empire. Before this marvel of engineering, sending a message from one end of the empire to the other could take months. But with the Royal Road, that journey was slashed to just a matter of days. Fresh riders and horses were stationed at regular intervals, creating a relay system that was the fastest the world had ever seen. This wasn't just about messages. It was the lifeblood of the empire. Trade boomed, new ideas spread like wildfire, and the central government could effectively manage its sprawling territories. The Royal Road was more than just a road. It was the world's first true global communication system, a testament to ancient ingenuity. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing history. You've heard of Cyrus the Great, but what about the man who came after and truly organized the Persian Empire? Meet Darius the Great. While Cyrus was the conqueror, Darius was the master administrator. He was the genius who realized a vast empire needs more than just a strong army to survive. So, what did he do? First, he introduced a unified currency, the darak, making trade across his massive territory seamless. Then, he established standard weights and measures. Imagine how much easier that made business. He also launched huge infrastructure projects, building roads and canals that connected the empire like never before. And his crowning achievement? The magnificent city of Persepolis. This wasn't a fortress built to intimidate. It was a breathtaking symbol of unity, prosperity, and order. Under Darius, the Persian Empire didn't just grow. It flourished, reaching its absolute golden age. Thanks for watching. If you love learning about history's greatest builders, hit that subscribe button. Ever wondered how ancient empires kept the peace? Let's talk about ancient Persia, because their approach was seriously ahead of its time. Forget what you think you know about old-school conquerors. The Persian Empire had a revolutionary policy: religious tolerance. That's right. If you were a Zoroastrian, a Jew, a Christian, or followed any local faith, you were generally free to practice it. Persia didn't believe in forcing its religion on conquered peoples. There were no widespread religious genocides or forced conversions under their rule. And what was the result? People actually defended the empire. Why? Because an empire that respects your beliefs is an empire worth protecting. This mutual respect created a level of loyalty and stability that was truly remarkable for the era. It's a powerful lesson from history that still resonates today. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this little piece of history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. We all learn about the glory of ancient Greece, right? The birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and epic heroes who stood against impossible odds. We hear stories of the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae and the stunning victory at Marathon, and we think, wow, Greece really defeated the mighty Persian Empire. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Think about it this way. Those famous battles were more like successful defensive plays for Greece. They were crucial for Greek survival. Absolutely. But they didn't destroy Persia. Not even close. While the Greek city-states were busy fighting each other, the Persian Empire remained the undisputed superpower of the ancient world. It controlled vast territories across 3 continents, from Egypt to India. So while Greece survived and left an incredible cultural legacy, Persia continued to rule the world. It's a fascinating perspective shift, isn't it? If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe for more historical deep dives. Thanks for watching. Ever wonder how a mighty empire like Persia could just fall? It wasn't some dramatic, overnight collapse from a single epic battle. The real story is a slow burn, a rot from the inside out. Think about it. Over time, luxury started creeping in, making everyone a little too comfortable. The court became a snake pit of political games, where loyalty and discipline went out the window. Strong leadership? That started to fade, replaced by weaker rulers who couldn't hold things together. It's a timeless lesson, really. Empires, and maybe even big companies or projects, don't usually get crushed by their enemies first. The cracks almost always start from within. It's the internal decay that makes them vulnerable. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more history insights. Thanks for watching. We often think of Alexander the Great as just a conqueror, the man who brought the mighty Persian Empire to its knees. But what happened after the battles were won? It's a story you might not expect. Alexander didn't just tear everything down. Instead of destroying the Persian system, he adopted it. He saw the genius in their administration and kept it running. The satraps, the local governors, largely remained in place, managing the vast territories just as they had before. He even started dressing in Persian royal attire and adopted their court customs. This wasn't just about power. It was about respect. Alexander understood that to rule this diverse empire, he needed to blend cultures, not erase them. So while Persia was defeated on the battlefield, its sophisticated system of governance didn't just survive, it flourished under new management. Alexander proved that true conquest isn't about destruction, but about smart integration. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more surprising history. We often think of Alexander the Great as just a conqueror, the man who brought the mighty Persian Empire to its knees. But what happened after the battles were won? It's a story you might not expect. Alexander didn't just tear everything down. Instead of destroying the Persian system, he adopted it. He saw the genius in their administration and kept it running. The satraps, the local governors, largely remained in place, managing the vast territories just as they had before. He even started dressing in Persian royal attire and adopted their court customs. This wasn't just about power. It was about respect. Alexander understood that to rule this diverse empire, he needed to blend cultures, not erase them. So while Persia was defeated on the battlefield, its sophisticated system of governance didn't just survive, it flourished under new management. Alexander proved that true conquest isn't about destruction, but about smart integration. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more surprising history. History often remembers the loudest empires, the ones that carved their names into the world with fire and sword. But what if the most powerful empires weren't the most brutal? What if the wisest empires shaped the world not through terror, but through order? Take the Persian Empire. It didn't rule by making everyone fear them. Instead, it built a world based on justice, administration, and respect for different cultures. That's its real legacy. Even after the empire fell, its ideas didn't just disappear. They continued to influence how we govern, how we think about human rights, and how we connect the world. Empires built on fear are remembered for what they destroyed. But empires built on justice, like Persia, are remembered for what they created, shaping our future forever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more.